Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. 80 degrees yesterday. It's now like 50 something. It's nice outside. Cool and crisp. Maybe 60 degrees. But I guess a little humid and windy. It's really breezy. It's kite flying weather. You ever flown a kite, Miss Peaches? I know, I used to like flying kites. We started out old school, just the single line. It just floats out there. You have no control over it, really. Maybe you can make it dive, and then go back up. That's about it. But then as a kid, we'd collect string, and my friend had like this, I guess the stick broke from a hammer, like the hammer broke. So he just had the 15-inch long handle. Sure. And that was his kite flying twine holder. Okay. And what was great about it, when that kite was going up, Miss Peaches, you could just grab both sides of it and kind of loosen your hands, and it would untwirl automatically. It was like the automatic unwinder. But, reeling in sucked. You got to do it by hand, and that really sucked. But anyway, as we got older, you buy some bat kite or whatever it was, and it had the 100 feet of string, and you want 200 feet of string. And I forgot what we had. We were trying, we thought we had a mile of string, 5,000 feet of string. I know the kite was just out of sight. The line just sagged. It was a big old kite we put up there. Anyway, yeah, kid stuff. And then the dual string kite came out, and that one you could kind of go back and forth with it. You could go left and right, up and down. And then the 4-string kite came out. I'm sure some lunatic has an 8-string kite now, but the old 4-string came out where you could make the kite stop in one spot and go up and all kind of crazy stuff. Anyway, we've changed the format of the station. It's Kite Talk. Every day, 24/7, 365. We're rolling the dice. Some folks aren't sure about it. Other folks seem very confident about this format. Lots of radio formats all around the country. We did Scissor Talk about 3 years ago. That lasted about 2 days. We were so excited about it. 6 months of planning, millions of dollars invested. But you're warm. Don't go anywhere. We're going to tighten you up. Coming right back, New Orleans.
Woodhouse Day Spa with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. Port of New Orleans, no matter what, the gateway it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future. At the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Hey, Marini, Bywater, Tremay, French Quarter, CBD, Warehouse District, Garden District, Irish Channel. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
I was at that Smoothie King on Jefferson Highway. We were just talking about across from Oshner about 10 a.m. this morning, getting my vanilla gladiator with 45 grams of protein. Yeah, Jay and his dad will do you right. That Smoothie King, Jefferson Highway across from Oshner. And their other location, Old Metairie, Airline at LeBar. Yeah, you're right. I'll tell you one of the best things I did a couple of months ago. And it still happens a little bit, but not nearly as much as this like 3-day purge. I literally, I'll get 10 emails, let's say. 8 or 9 of them are just nonsense, and maybe one of them like I need to look at. Sometimes all 10 are nonsense. And then I'll get emails a few hours later. It'll be 18 emails, and 1 or 2 of them are legit, and the other like 16 are nonsense. I started unsubscribing to the ones that I just delete right away. Joe Blow has a sale, this, that, whatever. Just unsubscribed all the, nature's whatever, the animal thing, all these different things that I don't ever look at. Unsubscribed all of them. And now my email is, I get just a couple at a time. It's important stuff. It's business or personal. It's legitimate, not, Joe Blow's got a sale because you ordered a widget from this company a million years ago. Anyway, we'll talk a little bit about unsubscribing to your emails. And do you open your mail? Do you open all of your mail, Miss Peaches?
No, a mail that I get in the actual.
Yeah, the physical mail.
No, I actually miss things. I don't look at mail like I should.
What do you mean, like as you should? I look at it as I should, and I don't touch 90% of it.
Isn't that crazy? Like I
know. What do you mean it's crazy?
Jones?
Discover card, or you don't want that, or you want it, you'll open it and go get a Discover card. If you don't have a Discover card and you're getting a Discover thing, it's about a card. You don't want it, you don't open that, do you?
No, I actually.
What's the offer? I mean, unless you want one.
In my house, we have 2 bags. One is like junk mail and important ones we think are important, and then we'll open those.
Yep.
With anything
No,
else,
exactly.
goes to the junk
I
mail.
open about 10% of my mail. I don't miss money or any opportunities. At least I don't think I do.
But
Maybe.
it's funny how much we don't open as much as we should.
No,
you know?
I mean,
It's probably
it's
important.
crazy. Hey, Rob had something he wanted to add. Rob, I apologize. That brake train, when it comes down the tracks, we got to get the hell out of Dodge.
Oh, of course. Can you hear me, Corey?
Yeah, I apologize. I got like a short in my headphones. I'm going to have to get rid of these.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm on a cell phone. But no, there have been a few issues. You know, the last few weeks have been crazy. Actually, since January 1st, you had terrorism attack. Then you had the snowstorm. Then you had the Super Bowl. And, you know, things have been crazy. But a few issues. You know, you've been someone who's concerned about coastal erosion in Louisiana. There's a writer for the Advocate Picayune named Bob Marshall. The guy's like won a Pulitzer about all this. He wrote this editorial called like a week ago or so, "Is This the Future Louisiana Wanted?" And it was he like looked at every executive order that Trump signed, and he basically said, "We're toast." And I mean, you can find this editorial. It'd be really interesting just to read it on the air. It's kind of scary. The second thing I wanted to bring up, another huge subject in the middle of all the Super Bowl hoopla, the way that the Saints, was it WWL or WDSU did this thing on the way the Saints were trying to deflect the pedophile scandal with Archbishop Amon. And then I saw this one letter in the Picayune that said, shame on them for, it was actually written by a rabbi who said, shame on this news station for making the Saints look bad during the Super Bowl time. But that to me is a very underreported story. The last thing I'd like to say, and this is just food for thought. I completely agree. Everything, because I've been listening. The economic engine of the Super Bowl, et cetera. But have you noticed on every local news station, there have been all these stories about local businesses being hurt.
Yeah.
And that's not even all of them. I'm in the tour business. They didn't even bring up musicians. Now, I'm not saying that the Super Bowl shouldn't be here. It's beneficial in many ways, but that's kind of the flip side of that. So it's like, this is good for New Orleans, but to what end? Anyway, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong, but I just threw out three very complex issues at you, so I'm going to hang up and listen.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. As far as the Saints and the Archdiocese, I mean, the Archdiocese really screwed up, right when that's coming out, and that's probably like in the 50s, 60s, they get on it and they acknowledge it. I had a friend, his little brother, in their huge Garden District mansion, lit the sofa cushion on fire, like a pillow on the sofa. And right away, he's like, oh my God, this is mom's favorite pillow. That's my ass, And then he's like putting it out, trying to put it out, and catches the sofa on fire. And then it's like, oh my God, now I'm ruining the sofa too. It caught the drape on fire, burned down like half the house. Okay. So just you toss the pillow out the window and just bite the bullet, and you put an end to it, everything's intact. The Archdiocese just hid this. I'm a New Orleans Catholic. Father Screen at St. Pius Church, 28-minute mass. That was just magical as a kid. And always something insightful, always learned something, a great religious experience. Got me closer to God and Jesus, all of that. That's in my heart. It's never going away. Former archbishops in New Orleans, the Pope's visit. We're a huge Catholic city, and I'm Catholic. No, it's beyond horrific what the Catholic Church did. What it ends up being, instead of exclusively a place where men go to be priests, it's a place where most men that go there are for being a priest, but some, it's a great place to be a predator. It's like a great place to be a predator. You're trusted. You're around kids. No, and you're not doing anything about it, and it's sort of acknowledged and accepted, and it just keeps going. And then when somebody gets busted, you ship them out to El Paso or San Antonio or California, up in Maine or something, and they just do it again over there. I mean, we know the deal. Philadelphia had something if not equal, larger than what New Orleans had. And New Orleans, it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of victims. It could be thousands. No, and now the church is selling all their property. This former New Orleans archdiocese, which was just rich, was wealthy, is now bankrupt. The Saints, Gail Benson, a Catholic, met her husband, Tom Benson, at St. Louis Cathedral at church. Very much wants to help the archdiocese. The Saints have a built-in PR firm that handling media. That's what they do. They got involved, got a little overzealous, but it wasn't like, hey, let's screw over these victims. Let's have the church put the best, face forward, the best front. And it wasn't, and it didn't work out well. And it's definitely like a black eye on the Saints. But someone called the other day about, is Roger Goodell, the NFL, going to come down on the Saints? Not at all. The NFL and Roger Goodell aren't coming down on the Saints in this situation at all, ever. This is, an NFL owner trying to help out her local church, the archdiocese. I'm not saying it's right. And like I said, a little over the top, you could look at the emails. But it wasn't like the Saints were saying, hey, the hell with these kids that got molested. We're just for the church. They were just trying to help the church handle this, because the church isn't built to handle that at all. Bunch of bishops and priests, soft-spoken. And this isn't, televangelists. It's not these TV preachers. So I don't know if it's an underreported story. I think it's a story that's reported. We pretty much know what's going on, Rob. As far as the Super Bowl and it not trickling down to a lot of local New Orleans businesses, no, that is a problem. It's you want to get this Super Bowl, and it's a great economic engine no matter what. I mean, the NFL is going to be like, we're going to do it the way we want to do it. Lots of special events, lots of parties, tents set up, ballrooms taken over, restaurants totally sold out. That night, this company has that restaurant. No one else is welcome. And you figured a lot of locals that couldn't go to the places where the tourists are going to hit some of these like suburban and exurb restaurants, but that didn't really happen either. I think they just stayed home. So no, all these special events and all the parties and all the celebrities, and there thousands of people go there instead of going slightly outside of the, outside the perimeter. And I'd call what, the French Quarter, the CBD, the Warehouse District, that's sort of the 30,000 hotel rooms in that area. That's where most of those folks are and where they stay. And they don't meander outside of it too much. Apparently that was the case this Super Bowl. No, it was brutal. A lot of local businesses that were expecting like a month or two of business in 4 or 5 days had a slow 4 or 5 days instead. No, that's a kick in the knee. That's a kick in the teeth. That hurts. Hey, I got a great place for you if you're tired of your dry cleaner, button missing on the shirt you're putting on, collars wrinkled. You're like, did they expect me to wear this? It's not even right. Young's Dry Cleaning. Get rid of that dry cleaner you don't like. Experience the best. Young'sDryCleaning.com. A New Orleans institution for 85 years, since 1940. Young'sDryCleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been smoothie franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeVar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
You know, if it's a weekday afternoon in New Orleans, it's got to be Corey Johnson.
You know, moving like a gator down Bourbon Street.
The vibe of the Crescent City, Corey Johnson.
You put Paris in a swamp, and that's New Orleans in a nutshell, baby.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Unreal. Yesterday we're doing the program. Hell, last night I'm letting Tolly out, my Australian Shepherd, at like 11 at night. It's 71 degrees. And then like 5-6 hours later, it's like feeling like 40. It was high 40s. The wind was blowing, a little humid, just like that. Yeah, cool to cold today. Windy. Wind coming out of the north. I felt it. I was on the levee by Stacked Coaching, by Stacked Gym. River Road at Arnold, right past the River Shack, by Shrewsbury, right past Oshner. You probably drive by that all the time, didn't even know it. Stacked Gym, Stacked Coaching. Bradley Sneller is the owner, operator, head trainer. He comes up with all the workouts. The head coach over at Stacked, stackedcoaching.com. What's up, Bradley?
What's happening, Corey? What's going on, brother?
Same old stuff. I'll let y'all know how cool Bradley is. The other day, he walks into his gym. It's towards the end of a workout I was involved with, and I just frowned at Bradley and flipped him off, and he just smirked at me knowing it was all about this ridiculous workout that you put me through. Geez and Pete's. I look around, though, Bradley, and everybody else is rolling along, so I'm like, all right, Corey, it's you that has to catch your breath. Man, how do you know what isn't too much or the opposite? Man, I let him off easy today. Because every workout seems to be pretty damn tough, but it's doable. How do you know how to hit that soft spot?
Well, there's a little bit of method to it where, like, I write towards, I would say, the upper echelon of fitness in the gym. But then I think about, like, from the worst person to the best person in terms of fitness.
Yeah.
Okay. What would the time limits look like? What is the amount of work they can take? And I try to give a range for the entire group to make it tough for everyone, but not too tough for, let's say, the least fit person or someone less fit, that they leave totally demoted.
Yeah. Yep. Spent. No. And then what's interesting about it, two kind of angles on this. Everybody uses different weight, essentially, like what they can handle, right?
Yes.
Coupled with, as you get better, you're increasing the weight. Like, it never really gets easier. What's that, Bradley?
Doesn't get easier, it gets harder.
Right, but you're getting stronger and more fit, so you're staying at that ceiling level that we're talking about.
Correct.
Anyway, no, I sometimes I look up on the board and I'm like, wow, that doesn't seem that tough, and it's pretty much what it is, pretty tough. And then sometimes there's something on the board that looks insane, and it's pretty tough. They're all, some are tougher than others, but they're all kind of in the same level. And it's just interesting how you get that done.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yep. Bradley Sneller's with us. It's stackedcoaching.com. I remember we were talking about some stuff last week. I'm trying to find exactly what it was because I wanted to get with you on that. I know why I'm having to go way back, because of the damn gas thing that we were dealing with early in the week. Thank God the gym's on River Road in Jefferson, because if it was Orleans, you'd still have the gas leak thing going, that you guys had nothing to do with. Hey, I think I was asking you last week, but before we ran out of time, how does one know what weight to use? You don't want to be too light where you're not getting enough out of it and not pushing yourself. And you don't want to be too heavy where you can't complete the exercise or do it properly, or even worse, get hurt. How do you find that right weight?
Yeah. So I used to write in percentages, right? Where we would have testing, and you would do like a 1 rep max or 3 rep max or 5 rep max for a lift, right? And then we would write percentages of that weight for sets and reps. And you would do this by looking at your log. I stopped doing that because if you miss that, then, you'd be kind of off. You wouldn't know where to go, right? So I kind of give weight recommendations on how it should feel, because the reality is, like, your heavy lifts are dependent upon your energy levels, your sleep, your recovery, your stress levels, all those things. So let's say you had a true 1 rep max where you were totally well rested. And when we met 1 rep max, for those of you listening, let's say it's the heaviest you can lift at like a back squat or a bench press or a deadlift. Okay. And everything was perfect. And I tell you to do 80%, and this should be the stimulus. Well, let's say you had some buddies in from out of town, and you spent the weekend hanging out with them. Your sleep wasn't great. You drank some alcohol. You ate out a bunch. Like, your recovery is not going to be great to give that true 80%. So what I try to do is work up to a heavy reps for the day. Like, we build up to a weight and say, this is what it should feel like. This is the time period we're going to have. and we're going to work in these parameters here. Now, another smaller list, I might say like, hey, we want to do 8 to 12 reps. If you get to 8 and it was too easy, okay, let's go to 12. If you get to 12 and it was too easy, you need to add weight the next set. And that way we live within these parameters of what we're trying to accomplish, but give a range for the day based off of how you feel for that specific day.
We're visiting with Bradley Schneller, stackedcoaching.com. He not only knows fitness, nutrition as well, and they go hand in hand. He truly believes in that. Stackedcoaching.com to find out more about the gym, to join the gym, to ask Bradley a question off air. Stackedcoaching.com. Hey, should one eat something before a 48-minute to 1 hour workout like you put together over at Stacked? Should someone eat something before that?
Yeah, so I think that's dependent upon the person, right? Like if you're working out at noon, you probably need to eat before noon in order to have the, proper energy levels in order to complete that workout the way you would want, right? Now, if you work out at 8:30 or earlier, maybe not. Again, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Like if I know that I got a heavy aerobic workout that's going to be 50 minutes straight aerobic activity, okay, cardio, for those of you who don't know what aerobic activity is, okay, I might need a lot of energy, okay? So I'm going to eat some fruit, something like that, that's going to give me a little burst when I do it, right? If I'm going to need to be able to lift heavy mid-morning, okay, somewhere up in there, then I need to make sure I am properly fueled in order to be able to do that. If I'm just trying to have a normal everyday workout, I would say it depends. Depends on how you feel. Do you feel like you have enough energy to get through the workout properly? If so, yeah. If not, don't worry about it. And in the afternoons, typically, like you should have already eaten twice. So you should be good to go.
Yeah. No, exactly. Afternoon takes care of
There's
itself.
no exact science, right? Like you have to use by feel and be smart about it. Like one of the things that I can't stand though, is this internet fad out there that people think fasted cardio burns more fat. The science says no, right? It's like something that just kind of happened and they think it's some magic pill. It's not. Being in a caloric deficit burns fat. Being fasted and trying to do a high level of cardio just means you're not going to be able to do as much cardio as you would like.
How many minutes before can you have like an apple, a banana, some protein bar or something like that before a workout?
I mean, that depends completely dependent upon your workout, right? Like there are some big time Olympic weightlifters, power lifters that they're doing a 2-hour long workout. They eat during their workout, right? Like, cause they need that fuel throughout their workout. For someone else, it just depends. Like how fast can you digest that food? I wouldn't want to eat a hamburger and then go work out. Right. I'm not going to be able to digest that food fast enough, and I'm not going to feel great while I work out. So, but you could also eat a banana as you're walking into the gym and probably be fine.
Yep. Hey, Bradley, how important is stretching, and do you do it before or after the workout?
This is super interesting, okay, because I was just at the Super Bowl experience on Saturday with my son, and I was waiting in this big, long line to run the 40-yard dash in jeans and Nike Air Max.
Oh, boy.
And my son said, hey, Dad, why don't you run the 40-yard dash with me and my friend and my daughter? And I said, all right, I'll do it. And then he told me to go as hard as I can. Well, I really didn't think anything of it. I was kind of like just hanging out in this line for 30 minutes, didn't do any stretching or warming up. And I took off as hard as I could. And because I have had track training before, because I've run the 40-yard dash a bunch of times before, I'm able to kind of go full tilt, right? And about 30 yards in, I heard a pop.
Shut up.
And I could barely walk.
Jesus.
Saw stars, thought I was going to vomit. So I would say that mobilizing is pretty important.
Wow.
Now, mobilizing, stretching, they're kind of two different things, okay? You might at home think they're the same. They're not, right? Like you have static stretching And active stretching would be mobilizing.
Yeah. Hold that thought. This is too in-depth of a question. We're about 20 seconds from running out of time. Let's pick up on that next week, Bradley, the stretching
All
question.
right, man. Well, look, check us out. If y'all have any questions, you can reach us at Stacked Coaching or go to www.stackedcoaching.com.
Bradley Schneller, thanks so much.
All right, later.
That's Bradley Schneller, stackedcoaching.com. Check it out.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you. The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Get Audubon Gutters.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot. In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Thursday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. Gorgeous weather day right now. little cool, but nice outdoor dining, especially before the sun goes down. Lebanon's Cafe's open. Outdoor dining, indoor dining, to-go orders. 7 days a week, 11 a.m. straight through till 9:30 every night. That's nice to know, a little late night ace in the hole. 8:30, 8:45, you like haven't eaten. Lebanon's Cafe rolls till 9:30. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. Lebanon's Cafe. We like tossing a bone to this guy. As a matter of fact, in about 75 days, it'll be our Humane May fundraiser, where we try to raise $10,000 in the month of May for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Jeff Dorson runs the Humane Society of Louisiana. He's been at it for about 35 years. HumaneLA.org is the website. Go check it out. That's where you can donate. Please donate. Please be generous. HumaneLA.org. Let's save some animals. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, that's a nice way to put it. I agree with you. Yep, there's work to be done. As you know, you and I talk every week. We always wish that our state would do a little bit better when it comes to housing and caring and providing vet care for people's pets. You would think that they would do the right thing, but what do you think happens?
Boy, it was the Pine Trace Apartments in Pineville, Louisiana. The Pine Trace Apartments in Pineville. I don't know who raises these kids, but they were holding down a cat and the other kids were riding their bike over the cat. Luckily, somebody saved the cat, a big, beautiful black cat. I don't understand these kids. Just crazy.
Right. And tell your listeners what usually happens when kids do that to animals at a young age.
No, they're Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, I don't know why people don't understand that basic link. If a human being is going to treat an animal like crap, I mean, you folks that are delusional, like Grandpa was great. He used to fight dogs. Nah, Grandpa wasn't so great. You know, it was another time. He was great. You didn't understand that time period. No, he wasn't that great. Knew it was wrong. Cruelty to animals, cockfighting. No, people are crazy. And when a human being's going to treat an animal like that, Jeff, most likely they're going to treat human beings pretty crappy.
Exactly right. It's usually a precursor of things to come.
Yep.
Violence done against animals leads to violence against humans. So you and I both know that. And our job is to just keep educating, informing, and hoping that people listen to what we're saying. Be kind to others, and typically it'll spill over to being kind to other people as well. It goes both ways.
I'm going to do some deductive reasoning. The big black cat that you guys saved out of the Pineville area, big old head, and it's black, single color. I'm assuming it's a big male?
That's correct. Living nicely, a nice life after getting neutered in a barn.
Nice.
Somebody wanted it for a barn cat. They're feeding it. It's healthy. It's doing well over its trauma of being bodily harmed or even killed. So I'm so glad the woman stepped in. And some of the older teenagers were very aggressive towards her, asking that she return the cat so that they could finish their business. So luckily she hid the cat and got away.
No, thank goodness. And maybe identify these teens to the law enforcement, because what they're doing is criminal, you know? It's criminal.
Absolutely right. And leads us to a nice story about, we have 21 horses, maybe less than that now, because people have put in their adoption applications every year to try and help horses used in Mardi Gras parades. We find them good homes, because otherwise, Corey, you and I probably talked about this, they go back to the broker that sold them in the first place, and then they could be sold for slaughter. So we feel that we owe it to these nice, majestic creatures to give them a safety net, and that is make sure they go to good homes after walking in our parades.
Plus, these horses all seem ridiculously fit and healthy, like not old, not overweight, not emaciated. They're like sort of athletic looking, like that's why we brought them in, so they can handle the parade. So someone that adopts them, they're getting a really kind of athletic, healthy horse. It looks like, I mean, just from the photos.
Yeah, and some people are okay with that. These aren't prime thoroughbred horses.
Of course not.
These are, some of them are elderly. Some of them aren't, racehorse horses. They're just regular horses, but they deserve a good life.
Yep.
And some of them just want them to be on their pasture. Some of them want to let their grandkids ride them. It works for us, but you have to fill out an adoption application so we can make sure, A, you have horses, some experience, been to a vet, have the resources, a stall. We don't want it to go to just anybody.
Yeah, tied to a tree somewhere. How can folks find out about it was 21, less than 21 Mardi Gras horses. How can they find out about adoption?
It's a page on Facebook, Humane Society of Louisiana Mardi Gras Parade Horses, or just horses, and then another website with a similar name. So if you just start Googling any combination of those words, you'll find us. Fill out an application. You can see the horses that are available. The adoption fee, they range from about $650 to maybe $950. So it's definitely a good range. Nobody's making any money off these horses, but remember, it costs at least $1,500 a year to do it right. Feed, vaccinations, vet care.
Oh, at least.
Maybe stable fees. So don't go short. If you don't have it in your budget, please don't get a horse. They're not inexpensive.
No, $1,500 seems low, Jeff. That seems like it would be more than that. HumaneLA.org, the website's got the info too?
Yeah, so just go to, just start Googling Humane Society of Louisiana Mardi Gras Parade Horses. You'll find all the information you need. Call us if you have any questions. We have a volunteer base who wants to help find the right home.
Uh-oh, there's your buddy, Jeff.
Blue boy.
Yep, old blue boy. HumaneLA.org is the website. Donate right now, and please donate generously. HumaneLA.org. Until next week, Jeff, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Corey.
HumaneLA.org. Blue Boy says, go to the site right now.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxford, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Hey, New Orleans. If you've ever wanted to experience life on St. Charles Avenue, now is your chance. The Grand Victorian, the ultimate bed and breakfast in the Garden District on the streetcar line. Built in 1893, this magnificent house will make your special weekend getaway special. To find out more, go to gvbb.com. That's gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian, where the locals go to get away.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Ford F-150, number one seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
I have no idea, Miss Peaches, how much the Billy Joel, Stevie Nicks tickets are going to be at the Dome, but they're not going to be $12.50 like it was at the Warehouse. Hell, that might be high for the Warehouse. That would be like front row. $2.50, $4, stuff like that. I want to say my first Jazz Fest ticket was like $12. I want to say, I think it was like 12, something like that. I definitely remember paying like 18 for a Jazz Fest ticket, but I want to say it was 12. Hell, Miss Peaches, my first semester at LSU was $680. The second semester they went up to $820. You think, oh no, the students that work to go to school, my parents paid for my going up from $680 to $820 back then. They were like protesting. I'm thinking, well, it's like $160 or whatever, Yep, that was a ton of money. That was like a 25% increase in tuition. That's how they looked at it. Anyway, what's LSU now? Something insane, like in-state. I forgot what it is. Check that out, Miss Peaches, for us. Well, I can Google it faster, actually. You got to type. That's a nightmare. And it's just too slow, all that. LSU in-state tuition. I'm going to guess it's like almost 20 grand or something stupid like that. 12,000 in-state, 12 grand. Out of state is going to blow your mind. LSU out of state tuition. Let's see. Only 28,000. But there are other expenses. Okay. So in state's 12 grand, but it's 1,000 for books. It's
$14 grand for room and board. Jeez and Pete's. Other expenses, $8,000. So, I mean, they're telling, room and board, a dorm room's $14 grand for a semester? Seriously? $14,000 for a semester, 5 months in a dorm's $14 grand. That's got to be for a year. That's got to be annual.
I think they were separating it. Did I hear that right?
Semester?
Like that's for the actual
Yeah, you know that. Yeah, no,
classes,
totally. But I'm just saying, $14,000 for 5 or 6 months. That'd be like $20,000 a month for a dorm room. There's no way it can be that much. It's got to be for the year. $1,000 a month for a dorm sounds sort of possible.
I hope so.
I hope so too. Geez, pizza parlor. Greg and Cindy Brady, I'll meet you at the pizza parlor, and we're going to stay out late till 8:30. That's crazy. That's crazy. Thursday afternoon edition of the program. Hey, Doug Thornton from the Superdome is going to join us in about 10 minutes. I wish Doug Thornton would run for mayor. Wouldn't it be neat if someone really competent that had no political connections run for mayor? Now, I said really competent. C. Ray Nagin. Cool to cold today, windy. A lot of wind out of the north. Tomorrow morning, another chilly Friday, like 47 when we wake up. It'll be 78 on Saturday. And then back to 47 by Sunday night. And all next week, 40s to start every single day. And then 50s, in a few days, we'll even go into the 60s. But lots of 40s and 50s next week, a wintry mix. Hey, fellas, wake up. Get out from under that rock you've been living under. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. February 14th, every year, Valentine's Day. A very important day of the year for her. To have empathy, to understand and think about Super Bowl Sunday, how important that was for you. Valentine's Day is a huge day for her. It's about your relationship with her. It's important. They're romantic. They have feelings. They're not kind of meathead types like us. Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Guys, I got your problem solved. Even if tonight's like you're going to dinner and tonight you're supposed to give her the gift. Woodhouse Day Spa. They're all open, all 5 locations, going late tonight. They'll be open all day tomorrow, going late into the evening tomorrow, because tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And she's expecting something nice. And a day of relaxation from the city's premier day spa is exactly what she wants. I recommend going to one of the 5 locations, New Orleans, Metairie near Kenner, Mandeville, Slidell, Baton Rouge. That lobby foyer area full of a bunch of goodies for her. Bath salts, moisturizers for her skin, candles, slippers, robes, all kind of goodies. Have the staff in the lobby help you out. Pick out a little goodie bag for her, then get her that gift card, any denomination, maybe a full-blown day of relaxation. Grand slam home run, guys. Problem solved. What am I going to get her for Valentine's Day? It's tomorrow. Is she going to like it? What are you going to get her? A day of relaxation at the city's premier day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa. Is she going to like it? She's going to love it. It's what she wants. WoodhouseSpas.com. If you can't make it to one of the 5 locations, you can print your own gift card. Any denomination, any amount of money you want to spend online. WoodhouseSpas.com. Did I mention Valentine's Day is tomorrow? WoodhouseSpas.com. A lot going on. New Orleans restaurants claiming to serve local Gulf shrimp. We did pretty well. 21 out of 24, about 85%. Now, I'm not making this up. In Tampa, Florida, it's 4%. 4, like 96% fraud. 24 out of 25 Tampa restaurants serving you like a fried shrimp platter, some kind of shrimp dish, claiming it's Gulf shrimp. 24 out of 25 of those restaurants in Tampa are lying. Imported shrimp from out of the country. Fraud. They're lying to you. In New Orleans, it's 85% telling you the truth, only 15% fraud. Now, I don't like the 15% fraud thing. Are you kidding me? There's nothing good about that. No one should be happy with those numbers. That, wow, it's a, 8.5 out of 10 chance I'm going to get the real deal, but a 1.5 out of 10 I might not. 17 out of 20 chance I'm going to get the real deal. 3 out of 20 I might not. Now, this is going to blow you away. USA Today went to 4 cities. Tampa, I told you about that, 96% fraud. They went to Galveston, Texas, 59%, 60%. 3 out of 5 shrimp dishes in Galveston aren't local shrimp when they say they are. 3 out of 5 are imported shrimp. Biloxi, 82% in Biloxi. 82%. A 4 out of 5 chance if you're eating shrimp in Biloxi, they're going to be, and they claim they're local shrimp, they're going to be imported. 4 out of 5 chance. It tells me I'm not eating shrimp in Biloxi, sadly, or Galveston or Tampa especially. Baton Rouge was the 4th city that they went to, and it was clearly the lowest, but still double New Orleans. 30% fraud in Baton Rouge. 7 out of 10 Baton Rouge restaurants claiming they're serving local shrimp, 7 out of 10 are. But 3 out of 10 are lying. It's fraud. Tampa, Florida, 96% fraud. 4% of the restaurants, 1 out of 25, 4% that are claiming they're serving Gulf shrimp actually are in Tampa. New Orleans looks pretty damn good with an 85% reality rate. 15% fraud. Still, it should be 0. It should be 0. New laws in place. I've talked about these laws for years. Pounded Pat Connick. He finally got one of them put in place. Now they're enforcing it. All this, restaurants selling you out lying. And then these vendors selling you Bernard's crawfish or Bernard's crab meat, and it's crap from China. It's not local, but they make it look Louisiana. Scene, cypress trees, Bernard, some kind of Cajun name. No, I was saying that country of origin, even state of origin, if it's outside of Louisiana, but in the United States, the largest font size on the label, Bernard's, a big old label, product of China, right on that bag, on that container. No, we got to protect our local seafood. I never buy any of that crap. I just eat something else. I can't afford 5 pounds of crawfish for this dish. Then I don't make the crawfish dish because they're $15 a pound and the Chinese is $5. I'm not eating that Chinese crap. If they can screw up drywall, my God, I'm not eating anything they send me. Are you kidding? Nothing. Nothing for my animals. Nothing for me. Nothing. No shot. Yeah, it's not all the same. Like, not all Smoothie Kings are the same. Far from it. Experience the best. I grabbed a vanilla gladiator before the program. Jefferson Highway across from Oshner. Jay and his dad also own the Smoothie King in Old Metairie. Airline at LeBar. Experience the best. Smoothie King, Jefferson Highway, Old Metairie.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Welcome back, New Orleans. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Kind of cool. I mean, yesterday it was like 80. Today we were in the 40s to start the day. Now we're in the high 50s. Saturday we get right back up to 80. And then like Sunday through all of next week, lots of 40s, up and down. Boy, nothing up and down about last week, just all up. I didn't find a negative comment on social media. If one existed, it didn't gain any traction. I'll tell you what. And the positive comments about New Orleans and the Super Bowl we pulled off from every corner, like celebrities, musicians, social media influencers, regular mainstream media, kind of new age media, local, national, international. Just praising New Orleans. One of the guys instrumental in helping New Orleans land Super Bowls and keeping the Dome up to date and keeping the Saints essentially in New Orleans indirectly. Doug Thornton, he runs the Superdome, the arena, and a bunch of other facilities around the country. Doug Thornton joins us live on the program. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Corey. How are you?
Doing well, Doug. Always a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you.
I just saw today Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks, man. You guys don't stop.
Yeah, you know, we rolled right out of Super Bowl, Pelicans game last night, and a Billy Joel announcement today, and more on the way. You know, that's the nature of our business. We've got to keep these venues rolling.
You may have to change the name to the John McKithen Sports and Entertainment Complex.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. You know, we've done very well with the live entertainment the last few years, actually since returning after COVID. And I think on a national level, we're seeing that a lot of artists have been out and touring, and we're getting our fair share of the market.
I guess up in Baton Rouge, that's why LSU so desperately wants this new arena. Baton Rouge wants it. The Centraplex, the PMAC, they get overlooked, Doug. They just don't have the facilities. They don't have the roof structure to handle all the heavy equipment and all of that, right? And New Orleans has it in spades, especially where you are with the arena and the dome.
Well, a lot of it depends on the market that you're in. I mean, obviously, New Orleans is a bigger market than Baton Rouge, so we have different demographics, and artists will go where they can make the most money, and that is a factor of gross sales capacity, usually driven by the number of seats you have in your venue. So we're lucky. We've got 17,500 seats in the arena, and we've got anywhere from 45 to 50,000, depending on the configuration in the Superdome. There aren't many artists that can sell out a stadium. We've got Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Zach Bryan, Luke Combs. There's a handful, but maybe 6 or 7. And, we compete for those tours. But a lot of it's driven by the market size. It's driven by the capacity in the venue and where that artist can make the most money and what they can walk out the door with after taxes.
Doug Thornton's with us from the Superdome. Boy, Doug, I don't know if you could ask for a better Super Bowl week. Just fantastic. Throw in the weather. Grand slam home run, right?
Corey, we were so fortunate on so many fronts, certainly well prepared. We have been working on this for the better part of, I'd say, 4.5, almost 5 years. If you think about it, it dates back to 2017 when we first started talking about renovating the Superdome. It was with an eye towards hosting the Super Bowl. We knew we had Final Four coming in 2022. We knew we had Super Bowl back then. It was scheduled for 2024. You may recall the reason it was pushed to 25 is because of Mardi Gras and the 17-game NFL schedule, which turned out to be a bit of a blessing for us because it gave us one extra year to finish the renovation, and we didn't know at the time that we were going to have COVID interrupt that. So the planning goes back all the way to 2017 when we first started conceiving the renovation. Of course, that project got underway after the 2019 football season, and then we had COVID slow us down. And of course, the NFL started coming in and planning Super Bowl 2 years in advance. So this one was really complex. We've got a very small geographic site around the Caesars Superdome and the Smoothie King Center, and you saw, and all the fans saw, how much this game has grown since we hosted it in 2013. We always say it can't get any bigger, but I think what's changed about it, Corey, is the evolution of the fan who attends the game and the way the product around the game has changed. In other words, all of the hospitality now is so different. Very, very demanding. Puts a lot of demands on the city. Very demanding in terms of the infrastructure. You've got clientele that are paying anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000 for a ticket, and then when you throw in hotels and hospitality, you're talking about spending $20,000-$25,000 per weekend. So it's the evolution of that has been interesting to watch since 2013. But it was a great week. Everybody did a great job. Everybody had a job to do, by the way, from the infrastructure work that the city was working on. Jay Cicero and his team at the Sports Foundation, who were organizing all of those events around the city. And, of course, our team at the Superdome, which had to execute not only on game day, but game week.
Universal praise for the city. I remember when I was younger, decades ago. Norman Brayman was the old Eagles owner, Doug. And he was the first one I remember saying, he's like, the Super Bowl should be in New Orleans every year. And I immediately remembered that guy's name and remembered his comments, and we'll never forget him. I was like, I love this guy. He has no ties to the city, and he recognizes what we all recognize. Universal praise. I saw one, Sean Payton should be in the 5-year rotation. It should be every year in New Orleans. Sports writer who, did a little bit of his homework. He's like, okay, next year's game's in San Fran. The year after that's in LA. After that, Atlanta. So, 26, 27, 28 are out. New Orleans should get the 29 game. And I was like, I love how this guy thinks, but maybe there's a Mardi Gras conflict. And 2029, Mardi Gras falls on the exact same date as it did in 2024. So being 9 days out, that would be out. 2032, it would fall on Bacchus Sunday, the Super Bowl. But 2030 and 2031 seem open. Now, Doug, I say that because all I'm doing is a little bit more than the reporter. He just assumed, where's the next date? Give it to New Orleans. I'm throwing in Mardi Gras. I guess Mark Romig and Stephen Perry, those guys, or I should say Walt Leger. Is there a big convention in town in 2030 or 2031? Can we bid on the 2030 or 2031 game? Do you know?
Well, let's just say that those are you've analyzed it very well. You've done your homework, and those are the two dates that we're looking at because of what you just said. I mean, we now know that Mardi Gras is always going to be somewhat of a conflict depending on when it falls in the calendar. So we have to work around that, and that's driven by the 17-game season, soon to be 18-game season. So we're always going to have to work around it. We've always had to work around it, in the history of New Orleans. So I think you've analyzed it very well.
That 11-year gap and then a 12-year gap between Super Bowls. Just what I was hearing from kind of NFL owners and media and folks, maybe there was a silver lining to that, Doug. They saw how all these other cities do it, how much travel you have to do, how much time you're wasting in traffic, how you got to go from one end of the metropolis to the other. And then they come to compact New Orleans. They're like, wow, what were we thinking staying away more than a decade 2 times in a row? Do you feel that that's kind of changing? Everything's cyclical. It seems like there's a love for New Orleans, and maybe we'll get a game sooner than later.
Yeah, I think first of all, you're going to see some new stadiums built between now and 2031, which will probably put them in the mix. I mean, you got Nashville that will be open probably in 28. If the Bears can get traction in Chicago, they could be open maybe by 2030 or 31. The Commanders are getting traction in D.C. at the RFK site. That could be another stadium that would open by 2030. And the history's been that the league will award Super Bowls to those new stadium sites, but usually it's a year after. In fact, I think it's a league rule where they can't play a Super Bowl until they played a full NFL season in the building. So that's to our advantage with regard to all of those cities, with the exception of Nashville. Nashville, I think, will be open sooner than 2030. In terms of the competition and what you just said about the compactness, there are a lot of pluses about New Orleans. And one of the pluses is the fact that it costs the league a lot less money to stage an event in New Orleans because of what you just said. Less bus transportation. There's less cost because of the infrastructure that has to be built out. If you go to South Florida, the game's played in Miami Gardens, which is kind of halfway between Fort Lauderdale and Miami Beach. You've got functions going on in Miami Beach and functions going on in Fort Lauderdale, and that's a 30-mile difference. Same thing with Phoenix. So there are a lot of different reasons why the NFL likes New Orleans. Now, the challenges I think that we face, we're going to have to continue to keep the Superdome in good standing and modern. Which we plan to do. I mean, we've got other things that we want to work on inside the building that will continue to allow it to be competitive for the next several years. We're going to have to look at expanding our campus or doing some things with the campus that will make ourselves more Super Bowl friendly. You know, the tailgate party this year had to be placed in the parking lot at the LSU Medical Center. You know, the NFL put up an 80,000 square foot tent there. Post Malone was the artist who provided the entertainment. There were about 10,000 people at that event, and they migrated their way over to the Superdome around 4:30 in the afternoon on game day. That was all inside the secured perimeter. So, you know, those kinds of things we've got to look at more closely because the game is going to continue to evolve, like I said, you know, with the hospitality component. But you're right. All the reasons that you said, I mean, the compactness, the hotel rooms, I would say that we probably need some additional hotel inventory. The new Omni that's been announced down at the convention center is going to help with that. You know, we've got some quality hotel rooms, but Las Vegas, by way of comparison, has 125,000 rooms. So, you know, we've got 29,000 in downtown New Orleans, but Las Vegas doesn't feel the compression, you know, in terms of pricing that we do. So pluses and minuses with every city.
Hey, I was going to ask you any definitive upgrades on the horizon and dream upgrades. You mentioned the tailgating. I got one for you, Doug, and I know you're familiar with it. The Claiborne side of the dome is basically untouched since 1975, and I assume it's because of that erector set Claiborne overpass. If that thing could be removed and rebuilt a lot higher, you could open up that side of the dome. And I mean, all the way down like Poydras through Galvez to Broad Street, that big, massive triangular tract of land, and make that an incredible tailgating area that could lead into the dome. But, you know, Claiborne overpass coming down, redeveloping all that land, opening up the Claiborne side of the dome, that's hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, we looked at that, Corey, probably 10 years ago. We not so much relocating the overpass because that would require federal action. That's a federal highway. But more along the lines of cleaning up that private property between the Superdome and the sheriff's office.
Yep.
And what you're talking about is that Poydras Street corridor. We use that space, that's city-owned land along the upper Poydras Street there. We use that property for the vehicle screening. You know, most fans may not realize this, but every delivery that was made at the Superdome Super Bowl week had to go through what's called a VACUS machine. A VACUS machine is like a big X-ray machine for 18-wheel trucks. So they had two VACUS machines placed on that open lot right near the jail.
Yeah.
And that's the land you're talking about. If that could somehow be recaptured and cleaned up, and we could figure out how to sort through the private and public ownership of those parcels of land there, that is a location for tailgating. It could be used, you know, to support, you know, some of the Super Bowl activities as well as Saints on game day. Another thing that we would be looking at is how do we reimagine Champion Square? How do we reimagine the garages that face Champion Square? If you can think for a moment about taking those garages down to grade level, you could build yourself a really nice interaction between the Hyatt, Champion Square, and the Dome. And I'm talking about garages 1 and 2, which are on the east side of the Superdome. That connection is really our front door when you think about it on game day. So, you know, again, these are big picture ideas, lots of money. We'll be thinking about how we can develop them over the next 5 to 7 to 8 years in phases. You know, one of the great things about our relationship with the state of Louisiana, of course, the state owns the building, is the state has continued to put money into the Superdome year over year, which has allowed us to remain competitive. And I believe that that's going to continue. So look for more improvements as we go forward.
Tear down City Hall. There's another space for potential tailgating. Yeah. Hey, Doug, I know you got to run. Any definitive upgrades on the horizon that are pretty much locked and loaded? Just a few little things have to fall in place to get them green lighted, or not yet?
Well, you know, I think mostly on the inside of the building, there were some things that we did not get to do just because we ran out of money. You know, COVID impacted us greatly in terms of costs. escalation of costs. Every project in America was impacted by inflation. Some of the projects that we would like to do, we'd like to replace the fixed seats in the end zone, the multicolored seats.
Yep.
We want to replace those. We want to upgrade the bunker lounges. We didn't get a chance to really refresh those before Super Bowl. They're in great shape, but that's probably a $4 to $5 million upgrade. The seat replacement's probably $2.5 million. We would like to put windows in each of the 2 club lounges on the east and west side.
Nice.
Those are not revenue producing, but again, it's a nice fan amenity.
It's great
It
amenity.
gives you natural light in the building, and I think most fans really appreciate that.
Yep.
Those are just some of the improvements inside the building. We're also going to turn our attention to the Smoothie King Center. We know it's been many years since we put any money into the Smoothie King Center. I think 2012 was the last significant upgrade. So we want to look at what we can do there long term. And then there's some back of house things that we want to do to continue to upgrade as well. The building is 50 years old and it's doing very well for its age, but you've got to maintain the infrastructure, things like domestic water lines, drain lines, restrooms. We'll be focused on those kinds of things over the next 4 to 5 years as well.
Yeah, the Dome will be 50 this August. Hey, Doug, what? After Katrina, about $400 or $500 million dumped into the Dome, and before this Super Bowl, like about $550 million. I mean, it's safe to say in the last 20 years, north of $1 billion invested in the Superdome.
Probably a little less, but you're close. I would say after Katrina, it was about $350. This renovation, $550. In between, there's been upgrades, so it's right at $1 billion. But think about it this way, Corey, and put it in perspective. These buildings have typically a 30-year life cycle.
Yep.
They get funded through bond indebtedness for 30 years. The pieces and parts are meant to last, 14, 15 years before they get replaced, and then another 15 years and they're obsolete. We've managed to maintain this building for 50 years. And allow it to be competitive and be the host city for a Super Bowl, a magical Super Bowl, by the way, not just a Super Bowl, but it was, by all accounts, nearly perfect. So $1 billion is a fraction of what the Chicago Bears are going to spend on their new stadium. They're talking about a $4.5 billion complex.
Yep.
The Commanders are talking about a $4 billion complex. SoFi was $5 billion.
Wow.
So, pretty good bargain for the taxpayers and for those of us who want to keep attracting events to the city. And this Super Bowl alone is worth just hundreds of millions of dollars to the local businesses.
Doug, last question. You just mentioned the arena. A new arena? Redo the existing one? If it's new, do you play in the Dome and tear down the Smoothie King Center and rebuild in that similar footprint? What do you think is going to go down with the NBA and the arena?
I don't right now think it will be a new arena, although we have studied that, I will tell you, over the last several years. And part of the reason, Corey, is what I mentioned earlier. The cost per square foot of constructing new buildings, whether it's an arena or a stadium, has almost doubled in the last 6 years. It used to be that you could construct an arena at a cost of about $650 a square foot. Today, you're looking at $1,000 or $1,100 a square foot.
Yep.
So the price to build new is exorbitant. And the second issue is what you just mentioned. Where would they play? Could they play in the Superdome? That's a challenge, for a number of reasons. I think we have the capability of reimagining the Smoothie King Center much in the way we did the Superdome. It won't be the same because at the Superdome we had 110,000 square feet of ramp space that we could reclaim.
Yep.
We don't have that much space in the Smoothie King Center. We do have some, and we can probably go outside the four walls to create new space. But I don't know. We've been looking at this now for quite some time. No final decisions made, but it feels like it's a renovation, not new arena.
And that's hundreds of millions of dollars compared to maybe north of $750 million, maybe $1 billion to build a new basketball arena, right?
I can tell you, Oklahoma City, we managed their stadium, or their arena rather, in Oklahoma City, the Paycom Center. The city just approved a new arena. It's going to cost them $950 million.
Wow.
And it would be a similar size to what we're talking about here. I don't know if it's hundreds of millions to renovate. I think it's a significant number. It could be north of 150 for sure to do it right. But again, we haven't really studied the architectural elements and what we might be able to do. So it's a little premature to say just how much it would cost. But it feels like, based on what we know today, that it would be a renovation of the Smoothie King Center, since we've got the infrastructure and the shared services between the Superdome and the arena, as opposed to a new arena being built somewhere.
Doug, you've always been so civic-minded for decades and decades at the Superdome, bringing in Super Bowls, keeping the Dome relevant, and a bunch of other civic-minded stuff that you do. And you're always available to come on the program. So I appreciate everything you do, man. Congratulations, too, on a great Super Bowl.
Thanks, Corey. It's my pleasure to be with you, and look forward to next time.
Yep. That's Doug Thornton. He runs the Superdome and the arena and a bunch of other facilities all around the country. Yeah, what a great Super Bowl week. Boy, that's some good stuff, good information coming from Doug about the Super Bowl, maybe the next one. Maybe we're going to, the NFL has to ask you to bid, but they're going to know the deal. They're going to know the Mardi Gras thing. They're going to feel the vibe of this last Super Bowl, like people loving it. NFL people, media, NFL owners, everybody. It's universal. So maybe 2030, maybe 2031. That would be nice. Like a 5 or 6 year gap between Super Bowls, not this 11 and 12 year gap we've had between the last two. That would be some sense of normalcy, I guess, and just doing it right. I mean, come on, NFL. Every 5 or 6 years, New Orleans getting a Super Bowl, that just seems like a obvious, natural thing to do. I think it was Steve Scalise that told Roger Goodell, New Orleans, Las Vegas, wild card city. New Orleans, Las Vegas, wild card city. New Orleans, Las Vegas, wild card city. That sounds pretty good. I bet a lot of the owners would like that idea. Corey Johnson with you, except a few, like Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, Phoenix, Miami, Los Angeles. They probably wouldn't like that too much. Speaking of sports, check out the Pels. Check out Major League Baseball in a couple of months. Tracy's Magazine at Pleasant. Yeah, the NBA's heating up. Legendary Tracy's with that wonderful roast beef po' boy and too many flat screens to count, including a 10-foot monster. You want to check out your favorite sports teams? Tough to beat Tracy's. Legendary Tracy's Magazine at Pleasant in the Garden District.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Get Audubon Gutters.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Hey, back in October, Drew and his crew at Audubon Gutters installed new gutters on my house featuring the Leaf Guard system. So I'll literally never, ever have to pay somebody again to get up on a ladder and clean my gutters. They don't do paint. They don't do roofs. They don't do siding. They don't do windows. All Audubon Gutters does gutters. That's all they do, gutters. They're the Gulf South's largest. They're the most experienced in the Gulf South. They've been at it since 1991, 34 years and counting. Why would you even consider going with anyone else but Audubon Gutters for your home or business? AudubonGutters.com, featuring the Leaf Guard system. AudubonGutters.com. Kind of cool out there, high 50s. When we wake up tomorrow morning, high 40s. Saturday, back up to 80. Then Sunday through next weekend, 40s all week long when we wake up, getting into the 50s. And then a couple of days, we might creep into the 60s. But lots of 40s and 50s next week. A wintry mix next week. Hey, fellas, Valentine's Day is tomorrow, mañana. Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Don't blow it. Get to the Woodhouse Day Spa. 5 area locations. They'll be open late tonight. They'll be open all day tomorrow and into the evening tomorrow night on Valentine's Day. It's tomorrow. Get her a full-blown day of relaxation at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Take care of her. WoodhouseSpas.com. I recommend going to one of the 5 locations because you can get the gift card there.
But you can also get some stuff out of that lobby area. They'll put a little goodie bag together for her. Candles, bath salt, moisturizer, stuff she'll love. WoodhouseSpas.com. Don't blow it, guys. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. WoodhouseSpas.com. If you can't make it to one of the 5 locations, you can print your own gift card, any denomination, online. You can book an appointment for her online, WoodhouseSpas.com. In Mid-City, New Orleans, in Metairie near North Kenner, in Mandeville, in Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, WoodhouseSpas.com. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, guys. Don't blow it. Don't run from it. Don't try to avoid it. Don't try to get away with something. Tighten her up. Take care of her. WoodhouseSpas.com. The Saints introduce Kellen Moore as their new head football coach tomorrow, Fridays with Fletch. Fletcher Mackel will join us in the 4 o'clock hour. He'll give us the latest. Kellen Moore did not commit to Derek Carr as his quarterback, as his starter. He said, really excited to team up with him and go through the process. Not, hey, glad to team up with him. He's our starting quarterback. That's not the case at all. On Alvin Kamara, Kellen Moore says, one of the premier players in our league. He gushed about Taysom Hill as well. These are great offensive weapons, Kamara, Taysom Hill. When you can play a position outside of receiver, yet catch the ball like a receiver, that's a great NFL player. Kellen Moore knows it. No, Derek Carr is not locked and loaded as the starting quarterback for Kellen Moore's Saints. And that's a good thing. Go through the process, just like the coach said. Brilliant. Can you believe in Tampa, Florida, if you go get a fried shrimp platter, 24 out of 25 chance. You go to 25 restaurants in Tampa that say they're serving local shrimp. One of the 25 is actually serving local shrimp. New Orleans, much better. 85% of restaurants telling the truth. 15% fraud. In Tampa, Florida, it's 96%. They're just lying through their teeth. 85%. I mean, 15% seems like it's kind of unacceptable when you think about it, but it's a lot lower than some other places. Hey, are you on the Causeway heading to the North Shore? Fire in a to-go order right now at Treyen. Curbside delivery. They walk it right out to your car. Thursday, heading towards the weekend, you walk in the house, mom, dad, the kids, everyone's happy when you got some big to-go order from Treyen. Or better yet, head on over there, foot of the Causeway. You North Shore folks know where in Mandeville. South Shore folks, just 25 short minutes from Lakeside Mall. Treyen in Mandeville.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
The Lamar Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamar Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. If you missed the 5 o'clock powwow, we had Doug Thornton of the Superdome on the program for about 15, 20 minutes, talking about the success of the Super Bowl. When are we getting another one? He pretty much said, boy, Corey, you've done your homework. The dates you mentioned, 2031, 2030, those are possibilities. I mentioned 2029 is the next available date, but the 2029 Mardi Gras falls on the exact same day it did in 2024, which is 9 days out from the Super Bowl. So that's out. So 2029 is out, just like 2024 was out. 2032, even worse. The Super Bowl falls on Bacchus Sunday, 2 days out. So can't have a Super Bowl in New Orleans in 2029 or 2032. The 26, 27, and 28 games are already awarded. So next year, San Fran, 27 in LA, 28 in Atlanta. 29, we can't host it. And 32, we can't host it because of Mardi Gras. But 2030, and 2031, we could host.
They're going to have one in LA again?
Yeah,
because
it's LA. They want to be in LA, and LA built a $5 billion to LA's regular rotation. They're going to get one every like 5-6 years for a little while that stadium's new and fancy. No, but hopefully they're like, New Orleans deserves to be in that rotation too. Listen to what Blue Boy's saying, Miss Peaches. Listen to Blue Boy. Compact city, right, Blue Boy? All the hotel rooms you need, more coming online. You're correct, Blue Boy. Everybody loves the experience. Better than all the other places. I think Blue Boy makes some good points. I think they're coming back sooner than later. Even Goodell said as much. We'll be back soon. We will too. Tomorrow, 4 p.m.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.